Alzheimer's is a scary disease. I grew up only knowing my pappy as having it. After he passed away, I felt cheated. Everyone older than me that knew him always told me he was the greatest man they've ever known. Yeah, to me, he was the coolest because he was my grandfather. But what made him so special to everyone else? I felt jealous. What was his life really like before Alzheimer's? What was he like at my age? Would we have even been friends? I set out on a journey to find out. Through photos, stories, the good and the bad, my grandmother and my aunts helped take me on a journey to better find out. Who is Joe?
I forgot candles. Happy birthday to you. She's so queer. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Nanny. Happy birthday to you.
She was poking me with the tip of the knife to get my attention.
You weren't paying it.
Okay, when did you and Pappy meet?
Oh, I think I was 19. So that was back in 1949. And I think I'd have married him before we went to spring training in March. But he wasn't ready. And that was okay. We needed time.
Talk on the phone.
I think you told me that.
No,
but I
you
don't
never
remember
asked
who it
me
was.
out. We talked. But why do you think you called me? Just to pass the time? I don't think so.
That's what old people do.
I don't know. Ask the guys in the room.
I don't think
Why would
Judy? Maybe he wanted that.
Shit or get off the pot?
That's what she probably thought.
My grandfather's name was Joe Lonnett. He grew up a well-rounded, outstanding athlete in Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. To him, I was Kaluch. I remember singing his favorite song, You Are My Sunshine, every time I visited him. He played professional baseball, and my earliest memory of him took place down in Bradenton, Florida for spring training. We would feed the birds outside.
No, he was not there when Marie was born. In fact, I thought he was in one city, but he was in another. But we did finally get a hold of him and call him. No. We were in Philadelphia at the time. He was not home.
Okay, how was it like for him to be away most of the year when you started to have more children?
When I think about it now, I think that was terrible. But at the time, there was really nothing else we could do. It had to be that way. We couldn't afford to go with him. We couldn't afford the rent, and we had this house that we were paying a mortgage on. It just wasn't an option. You just made the best of what you had, and you just did it. It certainly wasn't ideal. It really was difficult. I remember one time, one of the neighbors I must have had a leak in the sink, and all you had to do was look at Bud, and he would blush. He was a very shy man, and he's lying on his back under the sink, and Judy's standing beside him. She might have been 8, 9 years old. And she looks at him and she says, Mr. Merritt, do you think you can be our daddy for the summer? So the kids really missed their father. They really, really did.
Aww.
Yeah, that was heartbreaking. Of course, he turned every color.
Pappy used to do the laundry, and I had a pair of jeans that I threw down. And they had holes in the knees. I mean, I had worn the jeans, and they were perfect. Like, if I would bend down, they just made natural, like, rips right in the knees. They were all frayed, and they were the most comfortable pair of jeans I ever owned. And Pappy's doing the laundry.
Yeah.
And when he did them, I got the bushel, we're putting the bushels away, and I pull out my jeans, and he cut them at the knee. And I said, Daddy, what did you do to my pants? And he said, they had holes in the knees. And I was just like devastated because he cut them at the knee. But he wasn't going to let me wear them with holes in the knees anyway, so that's why he said he cut them. But he ruined my best pair of jeans.
Oh, my word.
Okay, so before we get any further with my pappy, Here's what I know about his career. He was in baseball. He was the catcher for the Phillies for 4 seasons. And then he followed Chuck Tanner after he was traded for Manny Sanguian and ended up coaching and scouting for the White Sox and the Oakland A's. I know he eventually ended up back home as third base coach for the Pirates and was a part of their 1979 World Series team. I know that he impacted so many souls on that team as well. I came across a letter written to him by Willie Stargell. It said, "Joe, seeing you do so much for others has made me realize so much about being just people. There are givers and takers, and without a doubt, you're a giver. Sure glad to know you, Willie Stargell."
He spent 2 years during the Korean War, but he was down in Fort Eustis, Virginia, and the colonel there wanted a winning team. So your grandfather was not going over to Korea, that's for sure. The colonel said, "Who's that kid punting?" So he said, "Send him in to me." So Pappy goes in to him, and he said, "You're my punter." Pappy said, "Oh, no, sir. I play baseball. I don't want to get hurt." So the colonel says, "I'll tell you what. You get on the field and you punt, and then run off sideways, and nobody will touch you." So Pappy was a punter. In 76, he's in California, and second best punter in the country, young kid, was there, and all the baseball team was around him. And your pap said, "Let me see that football." He says, I haven't had a football in my hand for I can't tell you how many years. He said, "But if you spot me 15 yards or whatever it is," he said, "I think I can out-punt you." Well, the other kids, and they were young, just fell over laughing. How can this old man out-punt him? He did not need the 15 yards. He out-punted him straight out. Yeah. Oh, Kayla. He carried a 200 bowling average. The only thing I don't think he ever did was play tennis.
I'm sure he could.
He probably could have, but he never did. Nobody would shoot pool with him. I don't know the terminology, but
Run the table.
well, he could run the table. You just didn't have a chance. You just didn't have a chance. He was
Just too good.
He was a born athlete. He really, really was, and loved what he was doing.
While my pappy's career in baseball was really cool, he was never home, and that was really hard on their family. How long were you able to travel with Pappy until you had Aunt Maria?
Oh, I had her right away. 2 years. Well, we were married in October '55. She was born in June of '57. And of course, by '59, he was out of Major League Baseball, and I was able to travel with him with her.
Oh, you were?
I could even travel after your mom and your Aunt Judy were born. For a little bit. Well, he was in minor league. We were in Buffalo, and then he came home, and then he had a period of time when he was just like in the minor leagues, scouting, and he did that before. In 1967, he managed a team in Huron, South Dakota for the Phillies for 3 years, and we were all able to go there.
And then, I think Lenny was at Maria's, and I was watching Pappy. And I was going to the jeweler. Yeah, he was here, and I was staying with him. And I was going to a jeweler to see what kind of price I could get for my old engagement ring. And we're driving, and it was beautiful. It was like today. It was beautiful, sunny blue sky. And he said, "Where are we going?" I must ask, 10 times. I said, "Oh, I'm just going to see an old friend." And I said, "But I didn't want to go alone, so I wanted you to come with me." And he was like, "Thanks, Baba G." And I said, no better person to come with me than you. And so we're driving, and all of a sudden, it was like a moment where he was in the present. And he turned and he looked at me and he said, Barbara Jean, he said, "We've had some really good times." Because there's been some times that haven't been so good.
He said, but that's what life does. It gives you ups and downs. And he said, but I'm really glad that I'm here with you. And I said, Papa, I love you. Do you know that? And he said, I do. He said, I love you. And then all of a sudden, like, I don't know, 2 seconds later, he turned and looked at me. He said, so where are we going? And that was really like the last real conversation where I knew he was with me in the present. It wasn't. It just came. So, I don't know, I think about that a lot. I really never told anybody before.
Describe what it was like when Pappy signed with the Pirates in 1977.
We were all ecstatic. Now he's home. Because, in essence, from 70 to 76, he was gone all the time. But now he's with the Pirates. So they play half of the month in Pittsburgh, half of the month on the road. So that was wonderful. He got to stay home. Of course, he'd leave at noon or 12:30 for a 7 o'clock game, which was fine. He needed to do that. It took him almost an hour to get in and drive down into Pittsburgh. So, but it was nice.
Was everyone, like, all your friends and family all excited that they had, like, a celebrity?
I don't remember, but there was a picture here that said, welcome to Pittsburgh, Joe. Yeah, yes.
Oh, yeah.
But Joe's family did not attend games.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd.
Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks.
I don't care if I ever get back, for it's root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame.
For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes you're out at the old ball game. Bum, 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 bum. Take me out. He goes bum, ba bum, 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 bum.
I know you can sing.
You want me to dance?
No, Nanny, please don't.
See if you can play his trumpet.
Oh, I should. And we're all looking, and there's Pappy. He starts lighting up a cigarette, and we're going, what are you doing? Okay, look, nothing's going to come out of your smoking. So now Pappy goes into the woods. You don't remember any of this?
No.
Pappy goes into the woods, and there he goes, you guys wait here. I'll be back. And so we're all waiting. And then here comes Pappy. We see Pappy coming out of the field. He has something.
Right.
He has something. We're looking. He's dragging something.
Right.
Here he pulled out a tree. Don't you remember? He pulls out like a red maple tree because it's the fall. That's what you're gonna. And he saw that it had really pretty leaves on it. So
And he comes home and plants it.
He comes home and he plants. I remember that so vividly.
Wait, is it around the house?
Yes, it's probably one of the trees.
It's
Yeah,
probably one of
that
the-
tree right there.
Oh, it's that tree he got.
What did you want to say, Tina?
Okay, go ahead, Liz.
Talk loud.
When the whole deck on the back was a whole sheet of ice, and Pappy's sitting at the table where he usually is, like right at the front. He's staring at us outside. Me and Kayla are like going at it, like I'm going like this, like back and forth, like sliding back and forth, like about to
How
fall.
old were you?
I was probably in like 7th grade.
Oh, okay, so you were old.
Pappy was so mad. Like he was like, "Cut it out! Cut it out! You're gonna hurt yourself!" Like we have it on video somewhere. It was the funniest thing. Pappy was so mad. We're like, "Stop it! We're having fun." And like wiped out 700 times. Told ya.
He didn't want to see you get hurt.
He flawlessly combined his professionalism with humanitarianism. Except to our family, my dad's achievements were of a different nature. He was the same hard-working, gentle, selfless person, showing the same immeasurable kind spirit to our family as he displayed in his professional life. He always had a big smile on his face, ready for anyone. And that smile he gave you regardless of who you were and how you were feeling.
Pappy would golf with a foursome, and one of the foursomes was Dr. Heinley. And in 1997, I said something to Dr. Heinley about Pappy forgetting, and that I thought he was onset of Alzheimer's, and he said, "Oh no, Alveda," he says, "I golf with him, you know, at least once a week." He said, "I don't see it." I can't find the letter. I thought I had saved it. But shortly thereafter, he wrote me a letter.
I'm listening.
And admitted, he said, "I see where you're coming from. I can see it now with Joe." So it was in 1997. But of course, that was just right at the onset. He died in 2011. It's a slow progression. And he would be forgetful. Sometimes would go out to the road here at the end of the development. And if we were going to Aunt Nancy's, he'd look at me and say, "Which way do you think I should turn?" And I'd say, "Turn right, Joe. We're going to go down into Beaver."
How difficult was it for you to care for Pappy when he still lived at home after he got sick?
You know, first of all, you say, it's just like having a child. They can be all the work in the world, but because they're yours, it's fine. And he was a strong man, even until the end. He was a strong man. He wasn't ambulatory, but it wasn't difficult. It wasn't difficult. He could get into the shower. He could bathe himself. He could eat. I didn't have to feed him. I didn't find that it was burdensome. I really didn't.
Birthday to you.
Oh, it's blurry.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Pappy. Happy birthday to you.
I mean, what we had, he made, and we spent it on him, which was as it should be. I wish he could have been well. I wish that, hadn't happened. I wish he could have enjoyed his life. He loved you kids like you more than his own life. I'm telling you, when you kids were born, he thought that was it. Oh my. You weren't in the picture for a couple of years, but he thought the sun rose and set on her.
He taught me this part.
Throughout his illness, he was kind and humble. And that radiant smile and that immeasurable kind spirit remained strong, despite the difficulty in communicating that Alzheimer's disease relentlessly achieves. Except Alzheimer's couldn't take that away from him. And now, after his death, we continue to learn of even more lives he touched during his lifetime. And perhaps that was his greatest achievement of all. American author Napoleon Hill once said, "If you can't do great things, do small things in a great way."
And you love me too.
I have this here, and I think, here's a man that did what he wanted to do, was able to do what he wanted to do, was in a profession that he loved, and not every man can say that.
So that was, I was so thankful he was able to do what he wanted to do. He was such a good man. Oh my word, he was such a good man. I tell her, please don't put this in.
I won't.
But I tell everybody, I was so lucky for him to marry me. And then I, in parentheses, he didn't have to, you know. Shoot.
Well, look at all these pictures we have. Lots of memories.
I know.
Lots of memories. You guys were together for how long?
What I mean?
How long were you together? Long time.
Yeah, not that long. We got married in 55 and he died in 11, so what, 46 years? 40? My mind's fractured.
Long time.
Not long enough, but that's okay. We had good years together. We had good years.
You did. My favorite.
I don't think I would have ever married unless he married first, somebody else. And then I figure if I wanted to get married and have a family, I'd have to, but I'd have never married anybody else unless he weren't available. It's nice, and everybody should have that kind of love. I want you girls to have it. I don't want you to
Settle.
Right. Take second best. I really don't.
If you're skating, really not as good. Yeah, when you're skating, you're sweating and everything, or you're like, moving, it's not scary.